reached the car. What happened was I knocked her unconscious with the crowbar.
Where'd you have that?
By the car.
Outside?
Outside and back of the car.
Did she see it?
No. And then there were some handcuffs there, along with the crowbar.
Along with
the crowbar. And I handcuffed her and put her in the the passenger side of the car and drove away.
Was she alive or dead?
Oh, no, she was quite, not that she was unconscious, but she was very much alive. I drove down the alley to 50th, I believe, northeast 50th. Or what, the street going east and west, turn left. Went to the freeway. What is it? It's been a long time. Anyway, the freeway. Then went south on the freeway to turn off of the floating bridge. That is the old floating bridge, 90. She was conscious at this time. She'd regained consciousness at this time, basically. Well, there's a lot of incidental things that I'm just not talking about because they're just that incidental anyway. Went across the bridge, across Mercer Island east, past Issaquah, up the hill, down the road, and up to the grassy area.
How did you get across 99?
When you mean up in...
You're driving eastbound on 990.
Right. Well...
Barricade and all of that road.
Not then, there wasn't.
Huh?
Yeah, you could, like I told you, you could turn, at that time, you could make a left-hand turn. Illegal as it may have been because of the double yellow line. And that was talk about craziness. If there'd been a state patrolman there, he'd probably arrested me. Right? But, nevertheless, at that time, there was no divider running down the middle of that road at that point. I know, you're right, it would have been pretty damn hard to do it until once. But all you had to do was just make an illegal left-hand turn all the way across, the westbound, two westbound lanes of 90, and right into that side road that ran parallel to 90. Well, parked, took her out of the van and took the handcuffs off her. And took her out of the car.
When you driving what?
The Volkswagen.
Okay, you said van.
That's it. Well, I'm sorry if it wasn't a...
You said something before that was van.
Well, okay. Well, it wasn't. It was a Volkswagen, and took her out of the car, and I think I should have took the handcuffs off. Maybe that sounded like van. Anyway, this is probably the hardest part. I don't know. I know we're talking sort of abstractly before, but we're getting right down to it, and I will talk about it. It's just I hope you understand. It's not something that I find easy to talk about after all this time. One of the things that makes it among the things that makes it difficult is that at this point she was quite lucid, talking about things, about some. It's funny. It's funny, but it's odd the kinds of things people say under those circumstances. And she said that she thought that she had a Spanish test the next day, and she thought that I had taken her to help tutor me for a Spanish test. It's kind of odd. It's an odd thing to say. Anyway, the long and short of it, I'm going to try to make this get there by degrees. The long and short of it was that I again knocked her unconscious and strangled her and drove her into about 10 yards into the small grove of trees that was there.
Were When you throw me with
cord,
cord,
an old piece of rope.
there's something you brought there with you?
Yeah, something that's in the car.
Mm-hmm. Okay, see what happens.
Then I packed the car up. By this time, it was almost dawn. It's just about dawn. Sun was coming up. And I went through my usual routine. I went through this routine where I was just absolutely... Then I packed the car up. By this time, it was almost dawn. It's just about dawn. Sun was coming up. And I went through my usual routine. I went through this routine where I was just absolutely... I'll go through this, but on this particular morning, I was just absolutely, again, just shocked, scared to death, shocked, horrified about, and I went down the road throwing everything that I'd had, the briefcase, out the window, throwing the briefcase, the clutches, the rope, the clothes, just tossing them out the window. I was in a sheer state of panic, of just absolute horror, It's like, at that point in time, this consciousness of what has really happened is like you break out of a fever or something. That is. And so I drove north on 90, northeast on 90. At some point throwing articles out the window as I went, articles of clothing, shoes, etc.
When did you remove those
What?
that you told him?
Well, after we got out of the car, initially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I skipped over some stuff there, and we'll have to get back to it sometime, but it's just too hard for me to talk about right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you remember what clothes he was wearing with you?
Yep. A pair of white patent leather clogs, blue slacks, some kind of halter top over which he had a shirt tied in a knot.
Okay. And where were these deposited?
Along the roadside?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, not right along 90, went east to the infamous Taylor Mountain Road. What highway is that? 18. Turn right, went south again. And at some point, south of Taylor Mountain, a lot of that stuff went out of the car, down embankments and what have you. Yeah.
Pull out the door?
Well, yeah, I would stop, pull over the side of the road, and this time it was pretty light,
Yeah.
and just tossed it out. Well, you see, I didn't. There were sometimes I would do that, and sometimes I wouldn't. At this point in time, I was so frantic, so panicked, so whatever about what had happened that I just had to get every reminder of that incident out of the car, as quickly as possible. Didn't want to take it home, didn't want to be around. I was just...
Did you throw away some of your own stuff?
Oh, sure, yeah. I threw away the briefcase and the crutches and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the crowbar, everything. Handcuffs, everything. I'd get mad at myself. A few weeks later, because I'd have to go out and buy everything. I'd get mad at myself. A few weeks later, because I'd have to go out and buy another pair. I mean, it's not comical, but that's what would happen.
Okay, now, just prior, now that you've had a while to think about George Ann Hawkins, is there something you can tell me about her that probably only you know and we know?
Well,
I mean, the Spanish test is pretty darn good if you ask me.
that's what she said. Unless she was hallucinating. She said everybody called her George.
George?
That's what she said. Or how about that? She used a safety pin because apparently her blue slacks were a bit too big.